Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll call the October 15th meeting of the Common Council to order. I will ask the clerk to call the roll to determine a quorum.
Alderperson Grow.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Halverson.
Here.
Keene.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Noling.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Turner.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Grisham.
Here.
10 present.
We have a quorum. Please rise if you are able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by Alderwoman Grobe. Thank you. Now we'll move on to item D, presentation on the new Department of Public Works facility, an update. And I guess I kind of read it out for our clerk, so I'll turn it right over to staff.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to provide a short update tonight on the progress on the new DPW facility. So the schedule has remained the same. We have no delays so far. So we are on target. They assure me we're on target. So that hasn't changed since the last presentation. The major items we've completed to date, some are the same, but now we have, the site grading is all done. The submittal of the environmental documents to the DNR for the transfer station was done in the last week. And also submittals for gas and electric service to the site were done. So we're moving along. Those are all done. You can see what the site kind of looked like in August and the site in October. There it looks like a little more activity, a little more grading there. So what we're working on currently is what's called a RAM aggregate pier. There's a little different process. Maybe you've seen those where they drive the piles and you get the boom, 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 boom. This process is a little different. What they do is they basically shove the soil down into the ground and kind of push it into the side, and then they fill it with gravel and compact the gravel in the hole, and it's almost noiseless. It's kind of a little scary. But there's some pictures here of this is them ramming. This is the bucket that the dump bucket actually turns sideways instead of just pushing forward. So it's unique equipment that this company has made specifically for this process. There are, for the main building alone, there's 2,834 rammed aggregate piers in the main building. So this is what the plan looks like. It looks like that game where you used to draw the squares. So it's kind of crazy, but they have been moving along, and it's been really a good process. We have had no noise complaints. They do have a noise and vibration meter out there, and we've had no issues. The other thing is we are working on footings and foundations. So we are going up, which is awesome. You can see we've got, we're looking east along Burnham over here. We've got some wall and foundation going. Here's we're looking along 53rd, and you can see the rebar in there and the forms. And this is where our front door is going to be. And then VJS has been doing drone shots all along here. So these are the most recent shots from early October. Here we are looking northerly at the project site. It looks like a construction site. This is their haul road. So they haul gravel in and out here. This is where they were working on the front doors and the foundations. So that's all. This is where building 2, the large storage for the garbage trucks, is going to be. Building 5 will actually be over here where the transfer station is, and the fueling station will be here. So we've got some, again, this is looking kind of northwesterly. And you can see this is the next part that we will come down. This is the transfer station. Here we're looking westerly, more directly westerly, kind of up Burnham there. Here we're looking southerly. So if you were like hovering in West Milwaukee, This is what the site looks like. And here we're looking east. So just, you can see how this site is starting to take shape. You can kind of see where some of the building is gonna be, and the parking lots, and it's starting to look. They said, beginning of November, they're gonna start to put up the precast panels. So then you'll start to see some real walls going up. So it's kind of exciting. It's gonna start to look like a building. So all positive things. I just wanted to give everybody an update on where we're going. So with that, I conclude my presentation.
Thanks very much. Does anybody from the council have any questions? All right. Then we will move on to Part E, public hearings. We have 3 this evening, and I will ask the clerk to read out public hearing number 2.
Conditional use permit for Woodland School, a proposed K through 8 elementary school at 1526 South 72nd Street.
Thank you. Turn it over to staff. Mr. Scher, when you're ready.
Thank you, Mayor. The Woodlands School is a charter school, and they're interested in leasing a portion of the Holy Assumption Parish building, which is also includes a former elementary school on site. The Woodland School has requested that this item be held this evening. However, I'll conduct the public hearing just to give a summary of what they're proposing, but they are continuing to work on negotiations with Holy Assumption. They've requested we hold action. The property is roughly a little over 25,000 square feet. As I mentioned, formerly Holy Assumption Elementary School from that about the late 50s to 2000, and then it was another school from 2005 to 15. So it's been vacant roughly. The school portion's been vacant since about 2015. The Woodlands Charter School endeavors to lease the portion of the school building as well as a portion of the convent within the building that would be converted to classrooms and offices. Their proposed start of school would be summer of next year, at the end of summer vacation, August, September 2025, and they expect an enrollment of up to 500 children. Now, I don't believe it would be 500 right off the bat. We've been told it might be something a bit lower, but they would hope to grow their enrollment up to a cap of about 500 students. The zoning is RB, which is residence district. It does allow schools as a conditional use, and therefore the purpose of this public hearing. The school hours are pretty typical, from roughly about just before 8 a.m. to about 3:15. They also offer a after-school program until about 6 p.m. Where parents that are coming up from work can pick up their kids and go home. And just some views of the campus. This is Orchard Street here on the lower portion, and then 72nd, 73rd Street. And then this is the church. That's not part of the scope of this project, nor is this rectory. The portion of the building that would be utilized by Woodlands would be this sort of L-shaped area here. This is the gymnasium, and then this convent area would be converted to offices, and then the bulk of the classroom areas would be in 2 levels plus a portion of a lower level here in this portion of the building here. And then just taking a closer look at the floor plan, floors 1 and 2 would have 20 multi-age classrooms. They teach, the mathematics, social studies, of course, music, art, science, library offices, and so on. They'd be renovating the balance of the building, all of these parts, with ADA updates. There would be 2 lifts, like an elevator, as well as possibly a lift that would be added to the building to provide additional ADA accessibility and entrance to the building to different floors from the ground level. And then the second floor area would also include more updates, some plumbing updates, electrical updates within the building, converting convent area what's there now, kind of convent dorms, to proposed offices for staff, as well as conference areas, meeting rooms. And then the lower level would consist of a cafeteria, kitchen, lunchroom, and then again, the gymnasium would pretty much just be updated and refreshed for use. In terms of the site plan, the parking and access would be from basically 71st Street. There are a multiple number of driveway entrances. There'd be 2 parking lots, one off of 71st Street. That is the southern parking lot here. And then another on the north side of the site off of Orchard Street. Those are 2 parking lots that are currently in place today and feature roughly about 57 or so parking stalls in total. The parent drop-off is the model that they follow. They don't have busing at this school, at Woodland School, nor would they propose any here. This would be totally parents dropping their children off or walking to school if they happen to live in the area. And then the flow of traffic would be clockwise around the building from 71st Street, entering here off of the existing curb cut, and then through the parking lot, down the alley, and then making a right turn onto 72nd Street. And there would be a staging area for a number of vehicles along 72nd Street for kids to run out and run into the building at roughly this point here. There'd be a new playground surface added for Foursquare and some other games, and also a recess area here along the west side of the site, which is grass now. That whole area would be fenced in with a decorative style of fence, and to prevent balls and so on or kids from running out into the street for safety reasons. And then the rest of the site would primarily just be updated, maintenance updates and so on, where staff is recommending some additional landscaping improvements along the northwest portion of the site along Orchard Street to sort of mimic what's been done over here on 71st Street. Just some different views of the site. So there was a public open house that was conducted in late September, followed by a planning commission meeting. Planning commission meeting had recommended approval in accordance with a number of conditions of approval. And since that time, there's also been public notice and mailers that have gone out to the neighborhood. Roughly about 150 people were contacted, both in terms of the public hearing this evening, as well as the public outreach event that we had earlier or later last September. And then we've received one objection to date, basically focusing around that, we don't need more schools, to invest in public schools. And then, again, though, the Woodlands has requested to hold off on this item for now, and we could come back at a future date. Just to give you a snapshot of what Planning Commission was asking for in terms of a revised plan and landscaping details, installing some additional landscaping along Orchard Street, refuse enclosure location being shown on the site and properly screened from view, bicycle parking for students and staff, confirming site maintenance updates, and then details of proposed exterior elevator on the building, and then also a loading zone permit being coordinated with our engineering department. That concludes my public hearing. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to entertain those.
Mayor
Thank you,
Devine?
Mr. Scher. Are there any questions from the council?
Mayor Devine?
Go ahead.
Steve, thanks for the presentation. I have a couple questions. If I remember correctly, back in the day, was that the school area where road barriers were put out so the kids could actually have a recess? Because I'm looking at the plan, and I'm seeing where you said there would be parking. Is there going to be an actual playground area where the kids have recess?
Yeah, the playground area is going to be primarily in this area here. What they're showing is on the northwest side of the site, as well as, I think, a portion of this west property here. So that would be the outdoor area. Whether or not they also include portions of this parking lot, that could be an option. But right now, they're just pretty much indicating this west portion and this corner.
Okay, and that whole area will be fenced in, you said, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, second part of my question, I don't know if you have the answer to this. Of the enrollment that they currently have, how many kids from West Dallas are enrolled? Do you know?
I don't know offhand. I could find that out, though.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
Sure.
Mayor.
Alderwoman Novak.
So my question kind of goes with Alderman Grisham's question. their enrollment, they're obviously looking to have kids from our current public schools transfer there?
It's a charter school, so there could be children that are going to their existing charter school. They have two locations, one on State Street, another on Blue Mound Road. Yeah. No,
So
Holy Cross,
would it be
yeah.
a mix of West Allis and Milwaukee kids then?
Certainly, it would be open enrollment for, whether you're from West Allis, Milwaukee, Greenfield,
Okay.
Oak Creek, yeah, anywhere. Yep,
Thank you.
sure.
Any other questions from the council?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Weigel and then Alderman Haas.
Steve, I have a couple questions. This use doesn't change the tax status on the property at all?
That's correct. It would still remain exempt.
Okay. And parking for 57 staff, are they expecting 57 staff? I mean, I'm just wondering how many jobs we're talking about when they're assuming they get to 500 students.
Yeah, staffing would be totally dependent upon the number of children, but, they're estimating somewhere between, 50, 60, I think, staff, I think was included in their application. And that could be accommodated on the property itself. That's what I understand.
Okay. And then I'm going to echo the concern about students. Okay, I'm going to say business is good. They have 500 students very quickly. No buses. So 500 students has got to be 300 cars twice a day, right? That's a lot. I mean, when it was, for years, it was a Catholic school, but there were half a dozen Catholic schools in the area, and the Catholic schools were essentially neighborhood schools.
All right.
And if we knew for sure that this was gonna be a neighborhood school and kids would be more likely to walk there, but if most, if not all, the students get dropped off by mom or dad or grandma every day, that's a big traffic impact in that neighborhood. That would be my concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Haas and then Alderwoman Keene.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Devine. And Steve, would Woodlands lease the property or would they be purchasing from the church?
Leasing the property, yeah.
Thanks.
Sure.
Thank you, Alderwoman Keene.
Are the two schools that are currently on Blue Mountain and Other Street, are those staying open? Or are those being consolidated and it's going to be one school and this is the school?
Yeah, their goal is to leave those premises and then consolidate their operations here in West Allis.
So do we know at each school what the enrollment is now? A little bit of my concern is they have 200 kids from this school, 200 kids from this school, and does that even leave open enrollment for West Allis families if all they're doing is consolidating it into one campus, but here in West Allis where taxes aren't paid?
I think they certainly hope for a number of their existing members to come with them to this location. However, there could certainly be some turnover where people decide, well, for whatever reason, this new location doesn't work out for me. So they're expecting some fall off. So that leaves the door open for new people.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Halverson.
Steve, I know we talked a little bit over email on some of the specifics on this. With the open enrollment, so like you said, any kid from surrounding school district can apply to this. Who governs then what's being taught? We've got our school district that tells us what to do, like who's in charge?
This charter school is actually authorized through UWM, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, so that's their authorizer. So that is, I believe, the higher parent, I guess, that governs, their charter and their operations. And I could certainly find out more information from their executive director to your point.
Yeah, and like I know they authorize it, but that's according to their website. That's all they do. Like they don't put their hands into what's being taught. And some of my questions aren't even going to be in your purview, but I just want to get them out there. One of the things that University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee says that they authorize charter schools for is, getting more innovative programs into our school systems. So my question would be, what innovations would Woodlands be bringing? And again,
I'll have to get
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to you on that one, yeah.
and like,
I don't wanna speak on their
it would be
behalf, yeah.
nice to have somebody to talk to, because like I've got,
We've got, yeah, Vicki Brown Gurley is here on behalf of Woodlands, so she'd be happy to
okay,
cover that, yep.
great, thank you.
Do you want to address us, or you can come up to the podium and just push the button so the green light comes on, please?
Mayor, I have one quick question.
Sure, go ahead, Alderman.
Do we have a approximate value on the remodeling?
I'll leave that to,
Okay, I'm just curious, it's gonna be well over $100,000, I imagine. It's
I
gonna
would
be-
estimate,
so-
yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vicki Brown Gurley. I'm the Executive Director for Woodland School Incorporated. I'm happy to answer any questions that you would like me to answer.
So yeah, Vicki, because I guess how I understand charter schools is there's a charter school in MPS, like MPS is still, you know, in charge of that. If we're bringing in different school districts, like who's in charge?
That's a great question. UWM is our authorizer. Even though we're a charter school, we're a public charter school. So we follow the guidelines from Department of Public Instruction.
Okay. And then, yeah, just to reiterate what was said earlier, 500 kids, you know, it sounds like you won't have that right away, but if that's the goal, that is a lot of increased traffic because, you know, most people drive, especially their kids to school. So I'm concerned that not having a busing system, you know, it's just going to clog everything up. Like, if I know one thing that I've been on the council, if there's one thing I know, people love their parking around here and their ability to get around. So I know there's going to be a question asked.
Absolutely, and we've been doing this for many years. Woodlands has been around for 80 years. One of our campuses has over 360. I know that's not 500, but we have been doing this, and we are willing to work with all of the older people in the community because we do not want to crowd the neighborhood. What we've also found is that while we're not designed to be a neighborhood school, we love to be in neighborhoods, and sometimes the families choose to send their students, and so we do have a lot of families who are in the neighborhood and who choose to be a part of Woodlands, and so we would be willing to work with whoever to make sure that that is not an issue for the neighbors.
Sure. And then one more question. So what innovations does Woodlands offer over just going to regular public school?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Woodlands believes in the whole child. We are a school that has an underpinning for character education. We offer students not just the main academics, but we offer band, orchestra, theater, art, music, and all of those things as well. So we try to provide, and the other focus for our students is leadership development. And so we try to provide students opportunities to do that kind of work in the community as well as in the school. But we are tied with Alverno College and founded by Alverno as well. And we do a lot, most of our work is around character education.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you. And there will be chance during, when this comes before the council, to ask additional questions.
Yes,
We don't
sir.
have to have everything asked this evening. If anybody has anything quick
Absolutely.
and timely, we can touch on it now, but we could be here till 10 o'clock otherwise.
Mayor Devine?
Go ahead, Alderwoman
I had
Key.
one that was quick and timely. What is the enrollment for both schools currently?
So currently, at one campus, we have 318. At the other campus, we have 180 students.
Thank you.
All right.
Really quick. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Are you closing those two campuses in the hopes of combining them here then?
Yes, our goal is to combine the campuses. We used to be one campus. We grew so much out of that one campus, we opened a second campus. And then what we found is it fragmented somewhat the learning, and so we're trying to bring everyone back together. We already consistently do the same types of things at both campuses.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. If there are no other questions from the council, then I will turn it out to the audience if anybody in the audience has any questions or comments. And if you're going to come up and speak, please give us your name and address, and please sign in either before or after your comments.
Sounds good. My name is Brady Coulthard. I'm at 1531 South 98th Street, apartment 100, West Allis, Wisconsin, 53214. Thank you, Mayor Devine. Thank you, council members. My name is Brady Coulthard, proud resident of West Allis. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight about the permit. I know it's being held, but in the future, you'll probably take action on this. I want to make sure you know how your constituents feel about this. I stand before you to express my opposition to the permit. Introducing a new charter school to our community may seem like an expansion of educational opportunities, but I believe it will instead create significant challenges to our West Allis, West Milwaukee public schools. Having knocked on thousands of doors in our community, I can confidently say that our neighbors overwhelmingly want us to support and strengthen our existing public schools. Right here, and approving this permit could further dilute West Allis, West Milwaukee's already limited funds. Furthermore, West Allis, West Milwaukee schools are required to provide comprehensive services to all students, including high-quality special education. Special education in public schools is already underfunded by the state. Additional strain from diluted funding could diminish the quality of services students receive here. We need to invest and strengthen the public schools we already have. Our schools are at the heart of our community, and they deserve our full support, especially in times when state funding is insufficient. Approving the conditional use permit risks undermining the quality of education for our children by stretching resources too thin. I urge you to consider the long-term implications and vote against the permit. Let's focus on enhancing our existing schools to provide the best possible education and experience for our kids and community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thanks for your comments. Does anybody else wish to address the council on public hearing number 2? Public hearing number 1, item number 2.
Well, I've never done this before. This is my first time. So anyway, my name is Ron Kubik. You want my address?
Yes, please.
9826 West Cleveland Avenue. And I was looking at this project here. Knock down the building, and you said 500 cars are going to come by here? What about the families that live next door to this? Do they want all that commotion? I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. Knock the building down and put another school there, and these people live there all their lives. They're paying taxes, and you're going to get all those cars coming by. I think it's ridiculous.
All right. Thanks for your comments.
You're welcome.
Anybody else wish to address the council under our public hearing?
Hello, my name is Noah Lee, and I live at 3620 South Loretta Lane in New Berlin. I'm here today as the school board president for the West Allis, West Milwaukee School District. And I'm here to talk about something very complicated, and that is how school funding is funded in our state. And there's something that's very important part of this when it comes to Woodlands Charter School, and that's something that is still unclear to us in the West Allis, West Milwaukee School District, and that's what kind of charter school they are. We know they're a public charter school, but there are different public charter schools in the state statutes. One is a legacy charter school, which is fully funded by the state, and the other is called a new independent charter school, which would then pull funds from the resident district in which that they are in, which means that for every student who resides in the West Allis, West Milwaukee School District currently, who would then go to Woodlands Woodlands schools, would then be subtracted from our funding revenues that we would get. And this is a concern from us as a school district because we're talking about K through 8 schools, and so that means that we're talking about 9 different grades that are going to be taken from at least 2 different schools, maybe multiple different elementary schools. We have 9 elementary schools in our district right now. So if you take 500 students spread across 9 grades from 9 different schools, we can't reduce staff to try to make up for those funding losses. And so this is a concern that we have from a school district's perspective, we would want to know more about. And the other issue we have is staffing. So 57 possible staff members here, well, that means they wouldn't be working in our schools. And this is something that we in the West Allis, West Milwaukee School District have really put a focus on to try and ensure that we can keep the best and brightest in our schools to teach the public school students that we have in our community. So these are questions that we were looking to get answers to as well, and I hope that you will think about those as well when you're considering this conditional use permit for this space. And I have to bring up the possibility of selling this property to be able to have a taxable entity instead of a non-taxable entity, since this is something that is often brought up in regards with our school district buildings. And this is another opportunity that could be used here to help reduce the taxes of the residents of the city of West Allis. So thank you so much. That's the comments I have now today, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for your comments. Any other questions, comments on our first public hearing this evening? Okay, thank you, everybody. We will close item 2, public hearing number 1, and we will move on to item 3 on our agendas, which is public hearing number 2, and I will ask the clerk to read that out.
Ordinance to convert massage therapy principal use from conditional to limited.
Mr. Scherer, when you're ready.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance endeavors to change massage therapy uses from conditional uses, which they're currently governed under our zoning, within our zoning ordinance, to a limited use. And just to give you an example, or the definitions of the different types of uses we have within our zoning code, a permitted use is a use that's allowed by right and doesn't have any specified conditions attached. Limited use is a use that's also permitted, but has some conditions attached, specified within the zoning ordinance. In other words, you're permitted, but we want you to do X, Y, and Z. And then finally, a conditional use is a use that's allowed upon meeting the conditions both within the zoning ordinance as well as what's imposed by the Common Council, all of you. So those are the 3 tiers. So we go from fairly easy, permitted, to a little bit more restrictive as we go down the chart. So what was presented to the Economic Development Committee a couple of months ago was just an ordinance to change simply massage therapy from conditional to limited use. The conditions on the bottom, these are the typical conditions that are required of any conditional use, massage therapy use. It has to be a state licensed operation, maintaining customer appointment records, all customers enter and exit through common public areas. It's 24-hour video camera surveillance within those public access point areas, and then also daytime hours. And then what is proposed in this ordinance this evening, again, is to go from conditional to limited use, but maintaining those same conditions that were just stated. So really no loss of what's been typically done with conditional uses. The difference being is that with the limited use, there's no public hearing requirement. So it saves a little time for, I guess, the business, moves them towards an occupancy a little faster. However, staff working with the applicant would still ensure that those conditions of approval are met and maintained, acknowledged, and so on. Additionally, those conditions could also be amended to include a requirement for an appearance before the council committee, if you so choose. The one thing with that, though, is that if the restrictions aren't listed within that table or that criteria table, you really wouldn't have the ability to add additional conditions. You're only focused on, I guess, you're limited to the conditions that would be allowed in that limited use table. So that's the benefit, I guess, of maintaining a conditional use. While it does require a public hearing, it's one more step to get into business. However, the safeguard of that is that the council has a little bit more authority or ability to regulate and stipulate additional conditions over and above what's stated in that conditional or limited use table. So pros and cons of each one. You could certainly keep the ordinance as it currently is if you're most comfortable in doing so, but we wanted to share the options with you going forward. Plan Commission has recommended approval of the change to a limited use, but ultimately you make the decision. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scherer. Are there any questions, comments from the members of the council on our second public hearing?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Weigel.
Steve, personally, I prefer we kept the public hearing requirement. And am I correct in understanding that the applicant pays for the notification expenses typically in that? So
that's bundled within the
That's all
fee.
bundled
Right,
within,
yeah.
within the fee.
Yeah.
So I think the neighbors deserve to know that this is going on in a neighborhood. And we don't have a setback, like we have some uses have a setback 1,000 feet from a church or a school or anything like that. There's none of that here with massage.
You're correct. Yeah, nothing like that with this type of use.
Okay, yeah. I could go for the limited use, but I'd like to keep the public hearing part of it. I think the neighbors deserve to know, so, thanks.
Thank you, Alderman Weigel. Any other questions, comments from the council?
Mayor Dan.
Alderwoman Nolan.
Hey, Steve. So I know under current conditional use, we can act for, or we can ask for additional conditions. Historically, what have you seen us ask for massage therapy?
Most recently was that there was a business on 116th and Theo Trecker Way, and it was a series of like a salon suite, and they had a number of salon suites, hair, nails, all that. And then the council with that didn't want 42 suites of massage therapy, so I think we added an additional condition to limit it to, I think, 10 or 15% of the number of suites within that building.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, are there any questions or comments on our second public hearing from the members of the audience? Seeing none, we will close our second public hearing, and I will ask our clerk to read public hearing number 3.
Resolution to approve the year 2025 operating plan for the downtown West Allis Business Improvement District and to adopt the special assessment method as stated therein.
Thank you. Mr. Cofield, when you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. As required by state statute, the West Allis Downtown Business Improvement District is required to submit to us an operating plan along with their budget and special assessment for the upcoming 2025 year. So as part of the operating plan requirements, they need to send a summary of their accomplishments for the past year, as well as a description of the activities and plan that they have for the upcoming year, and then as well as their proposed budget that is funded through the special assessment of the bid. Just as a quick refresher of where the bid is located, it is from 70th in Greenfield to 76th in Greenfield, going east to west. It also does go north and south a little bit, especially on 70th Street. It goes north and south a little bit longer to include all the businesses on that stretch. Also, all of the property owners in this location were notified of the public hearing tonight. So just a quick number of the summary of accomplishments for the last year for the bid. They attracted many businesses on a greenfield. They have a 2% vacancy right now. We're proud of the diverse uses that we have downtown, and not only adding new businesses, but we're also seeing investment from the current businesses that are down here, which is awesome to see. The bid has also added more events such as the Say Cheese Food Crawl to support art fundraising, as well as many other successful events that they continue to put on year after year. Additionally, the bid also created another subcommittee this past year that's going to help just plan and collaborate with the city for the upcoming Greenfield Avenue reconstruction, which is a good idea. So that's just a few of the many accomplishments they've had over the past year. So some general goals for 2025, continue to grow the economic mix and vitality of the downtown, improve and define the downtown image, expand outreach to residents, schools, and community partners. This includes volunteers. That's always a big thing for the bid for all of the events that they put on. Takes a lot of work to do that, so they continue looking for more volunteers for those events, as well as lastly, the aesthetics and physical function of Greenfield Avenue. The bid values the appearance of our downtown, including the planters, the benches, all of the art that they add in. They also do have a program to support our downtown businesses with new and improved signage, which is great to see. So just a quick bid budget timeline. So it starts with the bid board getting together and having a goal-setting session for the upcoming years. These priorities then go to the bid subcommittees where they talk through what they want to see over the next year. This is then brought to the executive director, who then brings the proposal of all of the subcommittees to the bid board for final approval, and then it's brought forth to Common Council tonight. So for their proposed budget for 2025, it's just under $150,000, and here's just a simple breakdown year over year. The biggest expense is wages, having an executive director and assistant director to make it all operate. And then on the bottom, you can see the total levy for 2025 would be $129,600, which we'll get into a little bit here. So here's a more detailed breakdown of just what all those expenses are for the various subgroups they have as part of their budget. So the total assessed value of the bid for 2024 is over $22 million, which it is a pretty significant jump from 2023 and for years prior. There were some reassessments in the downtown that increased some assessments rather significantly, so that's why there's such an increase year over year. The proposed special assessment levy for 2024 is $5.74 per $1,000 of assessed value, so it's just a slight decrease from 2023. That is all I have for my presentation, so I open it up to any questions or comments.
Thanks for the presentation. Are there any questions from the Common Council? Seeing none, are there any questions, comments from the members of the audience? All right, then we will close our third and final public hearing. Thank you, everybody. And now we will move on to part F of the agendas. Public participation is where the council can receive information from members of the public during this 30-minute period. We ask again that each speaker give us their name and address for our official record, sign in at the podium, and please limit any comments to one statement of no more than 5 minutes. We cannot take actions on topics raised by the speakers, and we cannot get into discussions because they would not be properly agendaized. Please, if anybody has public comment, please come up now. Mr. Kubek?
Well, my name is Ron Kubik, and I live on 98th in Cleveland. Now, that's a four-way stop. Now, nothing has been done about it. I live on 98th in Cleveland, and it's a mess at nighttime. These guys are driving, speeding right through the stop signs. And it's a wreck, it's like terror on that street. And I've called the police department, and they said, we can't handle it. But I think the city can do something about it, like put one of those speed bumps in or something like that. You know, this year, 65 cars I counted, 59 of them didn't stop. You know what the word stop means? They don't. They think it's funny, these people today in America. Nobody cares about it. When I stand on that street and watch these cars go by, it's like a big joke. And stop means nothing to anybody anymore today. We've changed so much. It's so sad to see on 99th Street the way it is. You just go out there once and just look once for yourself. One of these days, someone's going to get hurt. I've been fighting this, well, to the police department, but it's I mean, you got to look. The city already put 2 islands right across from Nathan Hale High School. And those things are dangerous. Those things are as wider than the street. I see cars going right over the bumps. It's dangerous. You got McCarthy Park here. You got an island in the center. You can't go straight anymore. You got to go around. And not only that, if it gets snow, no one's going to see that. It's a waste of money. I don't see how the city of West Allis can do this. You're wasting city money. It can go to better things. That's all I have to say. But thank you very much for listening.
Thanks for your comments.
Do I need that one? Yeah.
Here we're back. Okay, any other public comment this evening from the members of the audience? Big awkward pause, and I missed nothing. Okay. We will close public participation, and we will move on to item G on the agendas. The room numbers for our standing committees are listed on the top of page 2 of the agendas. If you are here for business with the city and are not sure which room to go to, whether it be a license or a permit or something else, please see one of your elected officials or a city employee when we break for recess, just so you know what gets you in the proper room. Move to item H, the mayor's report. I just have two very quick things. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we are doing the District 3 version of Coffee with the Mayor with Alderwoman Keene and Grisham. We are going to be doing it on the rooftop of the Bread Peddlers on 92nd Street with, we hope, a sunny 68-degree fall day. 4 o'clock until 5 o'clock, Coffee with the Mayor at the Bread Peddlers on 92nd Street. Feel free to join us. And the other thing I wanted to mention is Friday afternoon, the official opening of Twisted Plants, which is 62nd and Lincoln, I believe. 62nd and Lincoln, the old Fratelli's, or even older Dairy Queen. 4 o'clock, they are going to have, I believe it's free cinnamon rolls with most orders, and I think the first 100 customers get a free burger. So vegetarian food at its finest. And if you have not tried them, I'd encourage you to check them out and welcome them to our community. That does conclude the mayor's report this evening. Are there any reports from the alderpersons?
Mayor Devine.
Alderwoman Keene.
I wanted to let all Conrad Garden residents know that the Neighborhood Association is having a Halloween block party and potluck this Saturday, starting at 2 p.m. 86th to 87th and Orchard Street will be blocked off. There'll be activities for kids. They ask that you bring a dish to pass. Water will be included. BYOB for adults. And if you're not sure where Conrad Gardens is, it's 84th and Maple, basically the railroad tracks to Greenfield Avenue up until 101st Street. Make sure to like their page and check out what's going on in your local neighborhood association.
Thank you. Any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Halverson and then Alderwoman Grisham.
Another, just shout out to Fairview Park Neighborhood Association. We're hosting a block party at Copper Red Park this Sunday from 1 to 5. It's a snack potluck, so bring something tasty. And really, we just want to get this organization back together and get some members and really just want to know what you think. I have not figured out how to get the Packers game yet. I'm working on it. Activities do include, though, Kids and Dogs Costume Party, face painting, raffles, and yard games sponsored by OPE. We'll also have NA beverages by Fruity Fusions and beer provided by Perspective Brewing Company. So again, this Sunday, 1 to 5. And then my other thing is trick-or-treating, October 26th, 4 to 7 p.m. Be safe with your kids. It gets dark around that time, so I know, like, have something flashy, either put it on your bag or on your kids' clothes, because, you know, we're all worried about traffic and kids being safe. It's really hard, or it's really easy to lose them once it's like 5 o'clock. So be safe, have fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Halverson. Alderwoman Grisham.
Mayor Devine, I'd like to discuss something very important. This Thursday is National Pasta Day. And please make sure you patronize all these wonderful small business and restaurants in West Allis. Shout out to Mamma Mia's in D3, Capri, Caterina's, Filippo's, and Cataro's. If you miss it, Cataro's. And if you miss it this week, we get to follow up next week on the 25th for National World Pasta Day. So you get to visit all these places twice. So just wanted to make sure that all of our residents get their carbs in, and that's it.
Thank you. Any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Haas.
I move for approval of the minutes of the October 1st, 2024 Common Council meeting.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. If there are no changes or corrections, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, the minutes are approved. Standing committee reports, we have none, so we will go right to item L.
And Mayor Devine.
Alderman Haas.
Do any council members wish for separate action on any consent agenda items? Then I move for approval of the items in section L, our consent agenda.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. If there is no other discussion, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Grobe.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Halverson.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Novak.
Aye.
Noling.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Haas once again.
I move that the council stand in recess until the conclusion of our committee meetings.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We are in recess.
And I realized after the fact that I took your usual. As a verb. I was gonna say,
It's a word now.
agenda, a verb, yeah.
Okay, we'll call Public Works to order. One item tonight, item 19, Resolution 2024-0582, resolution authorizing acceptance of funds and naming of Rotary Knights Park at 6501 West West Beloit Road.
Move to approve.
Okay, well.
But I know we're going to have a discussion. I know we're going to have a discussion. but I still want-
No, I'm exaggerating. Yeah. And
Do you want to talk about it?
yeah, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have an amendment. I have a concern, and it's very, very minor, and I'll explain it. I think it should be Rotary hyphen Knights Park. Rotary and Knights are two separate organizations. It's
Makes
the
sense.
Rotary Club of West Dallas and the Knights of Columbus.
Yep.
And Rotary Knights, without a hyphen, that makes it
One organization.
Yes, thank you, Suzette. Yeah. So I certainly am in favor of this, just with the addition of a hyphen between Rotary and Knights.
Can we do Rotary dot Knights so that the hyphen isn't so? That make, no,
Or
that would,
dash.
yeah, dash, instead of a full hyphen?
So I guess I don't know the difference between a dash and a hyphen. No, I do.
Well, a dash is
a hyphen is two
horizontal, and a hyphen
dashes.
is this way.
Oh, okay,
So I'm looking at, you're saying hyphen.
So no, not a slash.
A slash, so we're looking at just the,
A horizontal
Yes.
line. We're talking about the,
and I know this because I have.
Dash.
a dash or a hyphen. The hyphen is the horizontal one. A slash is,
I'm going to Google it real quick.
Can,
Yeah.
yes, please do.
well, you know, yeah.
We have a very short agenda, folks, so we have
Right.
time
Got
to talk. What could go wrong?
Thank God the grammar police are here tonight.
Right, exactly. Well, you never know.
Hyphen's the short one, dashes are the longer one, so they're the same thing, but
Okay. And a slash is just a slash.
yeah, a hyphen joins the words together while dash separates words into phrases or clauses.
You were correct. I'll keep my 2 cents on this side of the table.
So, yeah, and I think that was the concern. Am I right with that, Suzette? You were thinking a slash?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. We want a horizontal line.
Yeah,
Whether we
so
call it a dash or a hyphen.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I'll retract my motion, or if you want to add the amendment, I don't know how you want to do it.
Sure. So, well, I'll make an amendment that it be entitled Rotary hyphen Knights Park.
Okay, and I just wanted to ask one question, if we can have some discussion on it, just really quick, why we're looking at having the Rotary Knights sponsor the park and why they get naming of it. Is there any information?
They bought a lot of equipment for there.
Okay.
$13,000 is the number.
Okay, and just so the public knows, there's no special attention given to any particular, organization or other, even though it may look like that, it's not uncommon that a park would be named after those that offer the financial support of it.
Yep.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And I would even add, Alderwoman Grisham, that the Boy Scout camp I went to as a Boy Scout was Camp Rocolayo, which is Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions, Optimists at Rocolayo.
Oh, I'm going to give you a badge right now for remembering it.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for me.
So, yeah, I made an amendment, but I didn't get it seconded.
Okay, second.
You made the motion ahead of time, so.
Yep.
Okay, it's been moved as amended
Second.
and seconded.
Correct.
We've had a discussion.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We are adjourned.
Okay, well, I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, we're going to call Public Safety Committee to order. Let the record reflect all 5 members are present. We only have one thing on our agenda, item number 23, 2024-0729, new operator's license bartender, Class D operator application for Christopher Mesquita. Christopher, please come up. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing well. Typically, while you're called before the committee, when you're applying for licenses, something comes up on your record that would be substantially related to the license that you are requesting. So with that being said, I took a look at what was on there, and you have two OWIs or DUIs from 2018 and 2021. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Okay. Have you met the requirements that the state required as far as fines paid, classes? In addition, is there any information you can offer us?
Yes, 2 things. First, thank you for hearing me tonight. First, the one I got in Arizona wouldn't be classified even as a DUI in the state of Wisconsin.
Makes sense.
And because they're a zero tolerance state, I had one beer and I got pulled over for a unsafe lane change violation. The officer said I didn't turn on my turning signal fast enough, but that's fine. But it wouldn't even be a DUI here. The second one I got in Janesville, that one was the day I found out my mother died from cancer.
Sorry.
Thank you. But I was only like a block or two from my house, and I was in a rental car. I'd actually pulled over to shut my trunk because I was turning on the light. And I actually hit the trunk button, and it popped up. There was no accidents in either case involved. There was no property damaged. So there was nobody else involved in either DUI. And I've completed everything for both DUIs.
Okay, and where are you working or where are you planning?
Oh, yes. I actually do currently work at Crawdaddy's.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a bartender there at the moment. I'm just trying to get all my license and everything set up here.
Okay, sounds good.
And I also plan to buy property in the area.
You do, where at?
Yes, well, I'm looking at houses around the corner.
Okay, so to
So
live here.
as soon as I get my license, get settled in, I plan to be a homeowner.
Okay,
So I'll be
fantastic.
paying taxes.
Excellent.
That's wonderful. Welcome to the community. I don't have any further questions. Does-
Madam Chair?
Please.
How'd you get here
Alderman Rowe.
tonight?
I took the bus.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Anyone else?
I move approval.
I second that. Oh, and, well, no, I don't need to second it. You second it. I'm a mess tonight. So there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Awesome.
Thank you and good luck with everything.
Thank you all very much.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Good evening. We will call the Common Council back to order, and I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Grow.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Halverson.
Here.
Keen.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Noling. Here. Rote.
Here.
Turner.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Grisham.
Here.
10 present.
We have a quorum. We will begin with the Administration Committee.
The Administration Committee recommended placing on file item 16 and for 18 to go forward with the attorney's recommendation.
Mayor Devine, I move in accordance with the committee report.
Thank you, Alderman Weigel. Is there any discussion?
Mayor Devine, I have a question.
Yes, Alderman Haas.
All right, so item 16, it's going to be placed on file, meaning there's going to be no change, meaning it will remain a conditional use requiring a hearing. Thank you. I see head nods. Thank you, everybody.
Very good. Any other questions? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Grove.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Halverson.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Novak.
Aye.
Noling. Aye. Rote.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Thank you. And we will move to the Public Works Committee.
The Public Works Committee recommended adoption of item 19 with amendment to add a hyphen between Rotary and
Knights.
Knights. Thank you.
Very good.
Mayor Devine, I move in accordance with the committee report.
Thank you, Alderman Road. Any discussion on the Public Works Committee report? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Grove.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Halverson.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Novak.
Aye.
Noling. Aye. Rote.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Next up, we have the Economic Development Committee.
The Economic Development Committee recommended holding item 20, adoption of item 21 and 22.
Okay.
Mayor Devine, I move in accordance with the committee report.
Thank you, Alderwoman Keene. Any discussion, questions? Okay. Hearing none, I will ask our clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Grove.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Halverson.
Aye.
Keen. Novak.
Aye.
Noling. Aye. Rote.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. And next up is the Public Safety Committee.
The Public Safety Committee recommended granting of item 23.
Mayor Devine, I move for approval of the Public Safety Committee report.
Thank you, Alderwoman Grisham. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item is approved.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Haas.
I move that we adjourn until our next scheduled council meeting, November 12th, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.